Today we're here with Kristy Cawthon, and she's going to talk about her experience as a music educator. So you can go ahead.
Okay, well, I have been teaching since 2004. I started my career in Florida in the 7th largest district in the nation. Hillsborough County is huge. Yeah. So that's where I started teaching. But even then I was teaching in more rural areas. I was teaching the farm community, specifically strawberry farms around Plant City. So I had all of my schools I've ever taught at are Title I. Mm-hmm. So you learn really quickly to teach on a budget. But you know, there's some blessings in that because they're very community oriented, family oriented people. Yes. The school tends to be a lot of the hub of their culture. Mm-hmm. And so there's a lot of perks to that as a teacher, especially a music teacher. Yeah. That the community tends to be very supportive because a lot of your programs and events and things like that tend to be community events. Those are big deals because they don't have easy access to that elsewhere. Mm-hmm. But then my husband is a minister. Nice. So we ended up in Texas. Mm-hmm. And I am now living in a place in a town of less than 7,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
Big change for you then.
It was a huge change. Most of my kids have not been out of the area ever. Mm-hmm. Wow. They live on farms. You know, and pretty much everything it's very rural. So even a step back from where I started in Florida, these kids are farm kids. Some of them are living in really, really rough situations. You know, you drive by their houses or whatever, and you're like, you don't even think anybody could live there. Some of them. Wow. So those are primarily the kids I've taught. Mm-hmm. East Texas East Texas is it doesn't really matter where you go in East Texas. All the culture is pretty much the same. Mm-hmm. So there's really no getting away from it. Yeah. If you're going to live and teach here, you have to be invested in the people and the community. Mm-hmm. So going back to music, that cultural, if it's not football or baseball or rodeo. Yeah. You know, they're like, why do I need it? I mean, honestly, it is a fight as any kind of educator, whether you're talking about math and sciences or music, you know, the arts, anything like that, you're kind of fighting for your place. If you're fighting to teach these kids that there is something beyond your little town. Mm-hmm. And there's not a lot of exposure to any kind of live arts music besides what is provided in the schools. Mm-hmm. So trying to create a culture of need for that, and you have to, because if you don't have a culture for need for that in a rural area, you're not, like, you don't have money. You have no way to actually provide any kind of education in that. Yeah. And it is not something, because most of these schools fall under what's called districts of innovation. Mm-hmm. And in Texas, what that means is they are so rural that as an educator, like if you came here and you were an oil field worker, but you had maybe a degree in accounting, or you had a degree in actually anything, mm-hmm. they can hire you to be a teacher.
Wow.
That's
crazy.
You do not have to be certified. You do not have to be qualified. And so my situation has been over the last we've lived here now 9 years, mm-hmm. but I'm still considered an outsider.
Oh, yeah, that's crazy. 9 years.
9 years we have lived here. My husband's been a minister in the community. I have taught in the schools. Yeah. but we are still outsiders. And so what you're going to get into with small town politics is, because it's a district of innovation and they have loopholes, I'm going to hire my buddies. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't matter if they're qualified or not. And it doesn't really matter if I have a qualified candidate or not. Mm-hmm. I'm going to hire who I want to.
Oh, that makes it bad for the kids.
Oh, it's horrible. Our schools are failing. Our schools are pitiful. And you know, the reason I became very invested, because I have school age children. So
yeah,
when
you're
we
like, I want to give
here,
them.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm a music teacher, and they were cutting all of the arts programs in the school when we moved here. And the community didn't even know it, because they were trying to save money. I mean, it was a time where funds were being cut. So I got into, you know, this is still very small town. You gotta stay with me on that. So I'm like, okay, I've got to find some advocates. Where would I go to find some advocates? Because I wasn't teaching full time that time. We were new. And I went to the local National Federation Music Club in town. Mm-hmm. Did you know there's still clubs like book club and
oh my god,
music club? And so I am literally the youngest by probably at least 2 decades.
Oh my gosh.
But I got there because I'm like, okay, these are the who's who in town. Usually the clubs are going to be filled with the ones that have been there forever.
Yes.
Which if you're going to go to a small town, you got to know who makes the decisions and has the influence with the people. Mm-hmm. So I got in with the music club. I said, okay, here's the situation. How would you guys feel about sponsoring a county honor choir that would just bring together some kids and just highlight the importance of music education in our community for our children? And they were completely on board with that. Awesome. So the first year, I literally, because I wasn't teaching full time at the time, I literally went to every school and taught the music, taught the kids, and I did that for a year. And we had our first concert. Yeah. And it really did do the job. Mm-hmm. Carthage is the seat for the county, which is the town we live in. Mm-hmm. And some of the movers and shakers in the community there weren't, this is new. Anything new, they're going to, you know, we haven't had it before. Why do we do that now? Kind of thing. Yes. So they did not participate, but all the others did. And then there were some parents mad, which was wonderful. That's what you want. Yeah. Okay. Why didn't our kids get to do it? Well, your school board didn't let them participate.
Let them do it. Yeah.
Second year, Carthage comes in. Now we've got all the major schools in the county.
Awesome.
We do year 2. I get hired on at one of the local schools. Mm-hmm. I start a music program there. Mm-hmm. And so, you know, now we're moving and shaking, and we get the local college involved. Awesome. We start working in their music department. Mm-hmm. Panola College is here in Carthage, and Dwayne Hubbard and Sandra Bauer are my right hands. They're the choir and band director there.
Awesome. That's good to have those connections in your community.
It's so important. It is so important that you connect with the people who understand, who get it, and can help you get past some of those small town barriers. Yes. Teaching in a rural area is not like urban teaching. You cannot take for granted that, well, this is part of core education. This is a core subject. You know, you're supposed to provide this. Well, no. Mm-hmm. I mean, these places fly under the radar because they're so small. Mm-hmm. No one really cares. Yeah. I mean, really, that's it. No one really cares if they fly. I mean, most of these kids grow up here, live here, die here for generations. So they don't really even understand that there's something beyond them that's even accessible. They know it's there.
Yeah.
But it's not really accessible. And so trying to come in, being seen as an outsider, create a need.
Yeah.
You know, it's like the Music Man all over again. You know, we got to create the trouble.
But you seem to
we
do a good job with it. Yeah, getting your honor choir and kind of, making a little bit of waves and getting, some people involved. So
yeah, I mean, it kind of is, and you kind of have to just say, here it is.
Here I am. This is what we're doing.
This is what we're doing, and you're gonna have the naysayers because places like this, if they've never seen it, they've never done it, the immediate attitude is, why do I need it? We've survived this long without it. Why do I need it?
Yeah.
So every job that I've had here, and I'm and this is the other thing. So I told you they can hire whoever they want.
Yes.
Carthage, again, is the largest district in the area. That being said, it's still not only a 4A high school. It's still not huge, but it is the largest and best paying district in the area. All of their lower level music teachers, none of them are certified.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
The only certified music teachers in these schools are in the high school and junior high, and they're the same ones. Like, it's the same one who teaches junior high choir, high school choir, same ones who teach junior high band, high school band.
That's so bad for the kids, because it's like, how do you expect them to go be high school and middle school like musicians without someone who's certified?
But there isn't that expectation.
Yeah.
I mean, there really is not that understanding or expectation. So this year, there were 2 music positions open. I put in my application.
Yeah.
I didn't even get an interview. I will finish my master's in December. I did not get an interview. They hired 2 people, one who is not music certified, and the other one has never been in a classroom for any subject ever, period. Let alone have any music background.
Wow. That's just nuts.
So that's what you're dealing with. I mean,
because it's like,
hey, I'm used to it at this point.
But still,
it's like, when your kids are in those schools, that's really frustrating.
Yes.
And then when you're trying to, I don't know. It's very frustrating, because when you see that, the most frustrating part for me is that is the attitude of, you just showed that this doesn't matter.
Yes.
You're not in it for the kids.
Because if you were, you'd be hiring the person who's qualified and giving.
I mean, imagine that.
Yeah. That's crazy.
I mean, there's nothing about this education around here is not about the kids. It's about social and political and, giving my buddy, and that is rural education. That is truly rural education. And I have now taught, this will be my 4th district in the last 5 years that I'm going to this fall.
Well, I hope it goes well for you.
I've not been fired from any of them, for the record, just so you know. I have chosen to leave all of them under protest, but it's mainly because you give them a year or 2 and you're going to see, I can do anything with nothing. And I've had to. Every job I've been with so far, I have walked into a classroom of pretty much nothing.
Yeah.
I have raised my own money. I have, donors choose. I have fundraised just to get basics. Like a tuned piano or orff instruments, or just just music for us to sing. Like there's been nothing, no curriculum, no nothing. So I can do that, and sometimes you have to do that. They want to see that you're really invested, and then they will start to invest. But the problem you run into is if you don't have an administration that is bought in, you're only going to go so far. If you don't have and it's usually not even been the community. The community typically buys into anything you do for the kids.
Yes. Yeah.
But if the administration is the hardest, it really is the hardest. And and bless their hearts, I honestly feel a lot of sympathy for them because it's so test driven. Everything is so, we have to make it on the test. We have to make it on the test. But typically these people are not, even your high level administrators are not educated enough in what music does for these children, their brain, their learning abilities, kinesthetically, like just the fact that if you would just stop long enough to look at what I'm showing you, it would improve your test scores. It would improve the learning. It would improve your vocabulary of your students. It would improve all of these things that you say you're wanting to improve, but beating a test into their heads is not working.
So you gotta find something else. And it's like,
and our schools are failing around here. They are really failing. And I'm not just saying that, like they're failing schools. So we've got to do something different. I mean, definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and thinking you're going to get a different result. So I feel like I've kind of diarrhea of the mouth, and I'm sorry. I'm just kind of throwing it.
It's good to hear about,
all out there, because it's a very different animal from going from, even a rural school in a large district to a middle of nowhere. You seriously have to become your own advocate and get out there, be creative. You have to create your own opportunities. And you've got to connect with people that will support that. Otherwise, you're sunk. There's no way to function. So it's been an interesting dichotomy of career as far as just comparing one versus the other.
And both of them being rural too, to kind of compare just the difference between two different locations. Like, geographically. So that's really interesting too.
Yes. But there's some wonderful things about it. I love there's a hominess if you like that, which I tend to, there's a lot of, your students and their families, and you really become an integral part of the community if you can create that, and it becomes something that the community loves and it will get behind. But it's getting to that point. It's not going to be easy to get to that point, and it takes a lot of time. And we've been doing this for over 5 years now, and we're still not there. Of course, COVID hit, and we weren't able to have honor choir for the last 2 years. We're starting it again this fall, which I'm really excited.
That'll be awesome.
It'll be wonderful. But it's just, if you're going to teach in a rural area, you better put on a smile and be a cheerleader and be ready for a lot of no's and just be like, that's okay. You people don't define me. It's you've got to have a strong backbone, but it's very lonely because you don't have a lot of other colleagues around. That was one thing. Oh, gracious. my mentor teachers in Florida were fantastic. And for a young educator coming out of school and learning, having those mentor teachers was fantastic. I don't think I could have done this job right out of school.
It would have been hard, you know, and
it would have been so discouraging.
Having that first few years to have some good mentors and kind of
and have that, you know, right there. Okay, I don't know how to do this, or can you help me with this? Or, you know, just having even to go watch and learn. And I was so used to being a team, part of a team, you know, and that it was okay that you don't know everything. It's okay that your strength is here, mine is here. Let's help each other. That wasn't seen as you're less and I'm more. That was seen as we're on the same team. We're working together. That is not the case here where I am now. It is very interesting. It's not seen as something good for you to ask. There's almost an elitism. Now, not with my two colleagues over at Panola College.
Not them.
That is not it. They are fantastic. And but as in general, it's a different dynamic. But I think if I could offer new educators one piece of advice, is don't feel threatened by knowing your strengths and knowing your weaknesses, and don't feel threatened by reaching out to others who are strong in what you're weak in. To me, that takes a lot of strength. It shows that I know I'm valuable and I know I can do what I can do. But this is about my students. This isn't about me. This isn't about me having to prove something. And as a teacher, you've got to be in it for the kids. You've got to be in it for what is best for them, and get yourself and your ego and your career, whatever is in personal, you kind of have to get yourself out of the way. Because you're really never going to get the result you want until you really invest it all in your kids. And you may never, but I'll tell you, whatever you get from that is going to be a whole lot more authentic. The result is going to be a whole lot more authentic than somebody who is selfishly driven. That's my philosophy. That's my advice. But and it's not easy to do, and it's not pleasant a lot of times. And you're going to take a lot of criticism. Sometimes you're going to there's always those colleagues that are going to look down on you a little bit. Don't listen to them. Usually they're more insecure than you are if they've got that attitude. And it's a wonderful thing to see, even if it's just that one student who it gave them a place to click and connect and find themselves. And if you can give that to one kid, you don't know, you may have just completely saved their life. You may have completely saved their life. So
that's what it's all about, you know, the kids. And
it really is. And giving them that, you know, that piece of you to hopefully help them in the future. But if you're in a rural area and you're fighting the fight, you keep on, because you know, sometimes it's like one of those, I know something you don't know, and I don't want to rub that in your face, but I want to give you something so bad that I know you need. And so I'm going to go through, okay, you can look at me funny, you can roll your eyes, I'm okay with that, you know, but I'm going to keep pushing just because I know this is important. I know it's valuable. and
well,
unique.
that's a great message. And I love your positivity and, you know, kind of keeping forward, keeping, you know, all of that. I love that. One last question I have for you is, what is one of your favorite memories or experiences as a music educator?
When I was, oh, now I'm going to cry. When I was teaching here, the first job I had in this area was at a little bitty school. I'm talking, the town is less than 400.
Wow.
It's right outside of this town, and it's a K through 12. And the first year I was there, I taught all the elementary and I started junior high choir. And I got thrown into theater. I was not asked, like, you know.
Yes.
And I was also told, without being asked, you're going to direct a musical. I said, excuse me? I said, have you ever, because the principal at the time was also the theater teacher. So yeah, we kind of had a little bit of abuse of authority, but whatever.
Yeah.
Here we go. I said, have you ever done a musical? Because I have musical theater background. I did musical theater. I love it. And he said, no, never, but you're going to do it. And you're going to do it with these kids. And you're going to do this musical. And anyway, it was a long drawn out. That's not going to work. I mean, but we ended up doing You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown. Because I was like, they don't have to be great singers. You know, they're character roles. So we can kind of get away with that a little bit. Yes. That experience of those kids, I remember the first day they're all walking in. I can't sing. I can't sing. Oh, I can't sing, Miss Cawthon. I can't sing. Okay. I mean, every single kid that walked in my door said, I can't sing. I said, have you ever tried? Who told you couldn't sing? Because these kids had not had elementary music. They had
You're like, who's telling you this?
music. Who told you can't sing? And I want you to know that experience of going through that with them, watching them develop. Those kids became my high school choir the next year.
Wow.
And they were on a fast track to absolutely. I had a couple of directors in the area come in that second year and listen to them. And one being my friend at the college. We did a piece that she did with her kids at the college, which it was pushing, but I knew the kids would love it. So we attempted it. And I remember her sitting there after they left and her just looking at me going, that was not what I was expecting. They did amazing. I said, I know.
Yeah.
I mean, I think just watching them learn to love it and go from thinking I can't to I love this.
Yeah.
To I go over now and I'm not even at after COVID, they had a change in administration. It was really bad. And I had to leave. And so I didn't get to finish with a lot of them. And that's why this still breaks my heart. But you know what? Some of those kids who, if they were living there, they live in those places that I told you about. Like you drive by their house, aluminum foil, just, they're in college. And you know how they're in college?
Because of their music.
They got choir scholarship.
Wow.
And it's paying for them to go to college.
And it's like people don't realize that. It's like that's a skill. And that's real money.
It's real money. And they're not music majors.
No,
they don't have to be music majors.
Choir, you know.
I'm going.
And that will change their lives, that education.
Exactly. Use it. I mean, just for me, that was such a huge, when I go over there now and I see them and they're, you know,
they're doing their thing.
They're living, they're
Yeah.
succeeding, they're doing it. And I think, you
Yeah,
know,
what would have happened to them if you wouldn't have been around to give them that opportunity, you know?
I mean, well, just what if they hadn't found that they were able to do that? If they hadn't discovered that, you know, I can do this. You know, and now they found that path, they found that avenue to use for their life, and learn to look at, I can live beyond what I've always known. I can move past that. And for these kids in a rural area, that's huge, because most of them, I'm telling you, have never even considered it.
Well, it's not a possibility in their minds, you know?
No, my grandmother did this, my dad did this, my mom did this. I mean, some of them, you ask them what their career goals are. Well, most of them, it's to work in the oil field, or they may get, you know, hygienist over here at the college, or they might, you know, go work at Walmart. I mean, seriously, none of them think they can move beyond this.
And it's like, but
it's been a game changer.
Yeah. Well, that's amazing, and I'm so glad you get to still see them and, you know, see them flourishing. That is fun. That makes it worth it.
It is. It really does. It really does.
Well, good luck in your new district. I hope things go well for you, and enjoy your summer.
You too. Yes. It was so nice to meet you.
It was nice to meet you too. Thank you so much for doing this today.
Of course.
You have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.